Drowning in an unstructured data lake? Applying a table format, like Iceberg, to your data can help you transform your data lake into an organized data lakehouse. Today, we're going to take a closer look at one of Estuary Flow's many data connectors, Iceberg. Estuary lets you build pipelines that can combine real-time and batch data. With source and destination connectors covering a variety of databases and APIs, you can set up integrations simply and swiftly. Iceberg is a destination or materialization connector in Estuary. This means that we can take data from one or more sources and send it to an Iceberg table. We'll get to a demo in just a minute, but first, what is Iceberg? There's been a rise in unstructured document-based data and data lakes, as opposed to highly structured relational data, like SQL. This unstructured data can be highly scalable and power a lot of our modern analytics, but it has a tendency to devolve into a data swamp. The lake gets stagnant when you don't know what all data's in there, or when data is hard to update or remove. This can also cause problems with regulations such as GDPR, where companies need to remove all relevant customer data on request. Hard to do when you're wading in a swamp. To help solve these issues, you can apply a table format to your data. This is a way to organize a dataset's files as a table, even if you're working with unstructured data. Apache Iceberg is a popular table format option. This puts it in the same category as formats like Delta Lake, Hudi, and Iceberg's predecessor, Hive. Unlike some other table formats, Iceberg is open source, allows you to use SQL syntax on your data, provides schema evolution when your data structure changes, and includes hidden partitioning so queries remain performant without needing to manually manage partitions. With that brief overview, let's look at how to use Iceberg with Estuary Flow. As mentioned, Iceberg is a materialization connector. This means you'll want to already have one or more source connectors and their associated data collections ready to go. The data in these collections will materialize to our Iceberg formatted storage. In the Estuary dashboard, go to the Destinations tab and add a new materialization. Search for Iceberg and select the Amazon S3 Iceberg option. Add a name to identify your materialization. Then we get into the main configuration. Now, Iceberg isn't a database in and of itself. You use it in conjunction with a storage solution, like Google Cloud Storage or Amazon S3. Like the connector name implies, we're using Iceberg with Amazon S3 here. You'll also need some other details from an Amazon Web Services account. In AWS, we'll need a storage bucket and an access key. You can use an access key tied to your account by navigating to your security credentials. Here, you can create an access key consisting of a key ID and the secret access key. However, it's generally preferable to use an IAM, or Identity and Access Management user. This improves security and allows for fine-grained control of privileges. Ensure an IAM user at least has permissions to read and write to Amazon S3 buckets, and that they have access to Glue. More on this later. You can then flip to the Security Credentials tab and create an access key. Whether you create the access key through a root account or an IAM user, copy the key ID and secret key credentials and paste them into your Estuary materialization. This will give Estuary the proper permissions to store data into your bucket for you. Speaking of your bucket, the next configuration field is the name of your Amazon S3 bucket. You'll also want to note which region your bucket is in. Add both of those to your Estuary configuration. Then choose a namespace. Estuary will create this namespace in your bucket for your Iceberg tables. You can also optionally set a prefix, or change the file upload frequency. You will then have the option of a catalog. Iceberg uses the catalog to store metadata and affect table discovery and management. This relates to how you'll query your data later. Iceberg itself supports several catalog implementations. Estuary currently supports 2 of those, a REST-based catalog and AWS Glue. Glue is a data integration service that helps with data discovery and quality, and it supports Iceberg table optimization. We're using AWS already, so we'll continue with the AWS Glue catalog. Since our IAM user already has Glue permissions, we don't need to perform any additional configuration. Select source data from a capture or individual collections. Then scroll back up and hit Next. Before immediately proceeding, you can also check out the schema specification that Estuary generated. This collects all of the configuration information about your materialization. Save and publish. Estuary will start loading data into your Amazon S3 bucket using the Apache Iceberg table format. You can explore this in your AWS console. Your S3 bucket will now contain your namespace and collections. If you navigate to Glue, you'll see your collections discovered as tables. The table details confirm that we're using Iceberg for the format, and we can check that our schema is as expected. With that, we've successfully set up an Iceberg materialization with Estuary. Get started organizing your own data for free, or check out the hundreds of other connections Estuary offers.